Good evening. It's in the name of our Lord that I greet you all and welcome you to my twin brothers, family service. I want to thank my nephew, Pastor Odell, and the congregation here at the Calvary Chapel, Downing, for enabling us to utilize this beautiful facility for this service. January 26, when Pastor Odell called, and I looked at my phone, just like April, I knew. Because who calls you at 12 midnight, 1 minute, or and tell you something happened. And then when Odell told me, we spoke very briefly, and I got off of the bed and I sat in my chair, and I took my phone and I hit the first photo, and it was him. I woke up my wife and told her what had happened. I just couldn't believe it. But I knew that it was God's plan for his life. We grew up together. We did everything together from the time we were little. And that's a good word that I heard his grandchildren and his children use. Ernie and I were very competitive. We would compete in everything, from the time we were small, even to the day that he became a member of the church. But later in our older days, it was a good thing. But when we were young, we were always striving to be the best. And I can honestly say to all his kids and all of you that he was the man. Ernie was the man. We grew up playing baseball in San Pedro at Peck Park. He played third, I played first. He made most of the all-star teams. He was even selected for a team that represented that area in San Pedro and Wilmington that faced the team from Mexico, and I would go and watch and support. He was also the only one that I know during our time that hit a home run in every park in San Pedro. Every park that we played in. The distinction that I hold in San Pedro is that I was the only batter that batted 500 throughout the whole season. But I think hitting a home run in every park in San Pedro as a youngster is the better distinction. He played basketball, but I think he played volleyball too. Tuve? At Carson? Yeah. He came off for football, but I think his sweetheart Debbie sort of took him away from the field. And so he was there, and I'd go and experience football at Carson High. But in our Psalm 1 culture, man, I tell you, if you're in the church, and what we did, we were the pianist and the organist and director, you had to be at choir rehearsal. So there wasn't no time, according to your parents, for any extracurricular activities outside the family. So he would always go. He would always go to choir rehearsal from, I think, 74 is when he joined Harbor City, and he's been there ever since. 40-something years before he left Harbor City. And he came over to the First Christian Church of Wilmington. Had him for 8 months. The last time I seen my brother was the first Sunday of January. The second Sunday, he felt sick. He called me, bro, I'm not feeling well. I go, you stay home. I'll handle this. And then the third Sunday, or that weekend, the third weekend we had a family funeral, and he was asked to represent the family and be the speaking chief on behalf of our mom's family. And then the day that they laid my auntie to rest, he got sick. And so he couldn't make the burial. And then a day or two later, he was in the hospital. 2 days later after that, I was in the hospital. And so I was texting with April. She was giving me the update on her dad. And then I finally was able to text with him, but he always tell me, I'm okay, bro. I'm all right. But I tell you, when he used to come to church on Sundays, and I look out my office window, he would walk from the parking lot just to my office. He'd get to the office door and he'll stand there. And I would look up and I go, are you okay? Are you okay? He goes, I'm okay. It's nothing. Then he'd just walk on and start playing his piano. And this happened every Sunday. And I would always look up. I go, hey, you better take care of that. And then finally he went in the hospital. And I was told it was shortness of breath. They did some testing. They found out his kidneys were not functioning properly. But he also had a heart pacemaker. And so I just knew that his heart couldn't take any more of what was going on inside of him. I'm gonna miss him. Gonna miss his playing, that piano. You know, we even competed in that. But he's so beautiful on that piano. Some of my church members enjoyed listening to him, you know, and I just embraced and thank God that he was led to our church to help me, at least if it was only for 8 months. Because when we were at Harbor City all those years, one of our uncles at the church, when I left Harbor City, told me, you're going to need him and he's going to need you. And I went my way. And sure enough, in my hearts of heart, I knew it, that I needed him and he needed me. 1970, we formed a band called Nala and Thanks. That was the first band we started at the United Samoan Church. We broke off the Harbor City, then we started the Island Breeze. Johnny Atuatasi and Frank, Frank Malatai. We had a whole brass section. For a whole bunch of Samoan guys, we didn't know how to play no Samoan songs, but we played all the top 40s, Earth, Wind and Fire, Tower of Power, you name it. So when they asked to play Samoan songs, we just tell Frank, sing your song, play your guitar. Yeah. Those were the good days. Frank has passed on. Johnny has passed on. Crazy James has passed on. Rest in peace, brothers. And now Ernie has passed on. So the only two left from that group of guys, myself and Wes Mamel. And Wes is going to sing a song that I'm going to play for his service tomorrow. So those things like that, playing sports, doing the music at the church, playing in bands, those were the days that, and I'll be honest with all of you, he had the quick temper and I was a little bit more humble. But in the older days, it seemed reversed. Because he used to tell me, you need to talk to your daughters. They say that you're just a little on edge. I go, what? He goes, yeah, I talked to Senge. I talked to Chanel. You need to slow down, bro. And now I'm going, what? And then, I just knew he was right. And I knew he was right because I noticed the change in him too. And I was so happy when I saw it and I heard it, that he was baptized, immersed, and he had rededicated his life to Christ. And I can see the calmness in his behavior, in his vocabulary, and just the way he handled himself in the last 2 years of his life. And I was so proud of him. He was my keeper. He was my keeper. He was my leader. He was the guy I looked up to. And then Dr. Fatai and the Carson staff, the stories she shared, I had no idea how much impact Ernie had on the Carson High School students. Never knew. I'd always call once in a while, bro, are you okay? I hear there'll be a fight. Hey, are you okay? He goes, I got this. But the story that Dr. Fatai told the children and all of us that night, they came over, I was taken back. We were all in tears. And so I, too, take my hat off to Dr. Fatai and the Carson staff and the Carson students for your love and your kindness and your ear to hear him speak to you and to accept his advice. He was the man. The only thing I disagreed with him, because he was on a panel, I think this was before Dr. Fatai took over. He was on a panel that selected a football coach we had that was 0-11 the year before at another high school. He calls me up like, okay, guy, hey, we got a new coach. I go, who? He tells me the coach. I go, do you guys know that he was 0-11 at the high school over in Torrance? He goes, don't worry, it's going to work out. And he really had faith in that. But, it's a different generation of students. And I tell you, you have to be special to deal with those kids now. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how the staff does it. I don't know how Dr. Fatai does it. But he did it. And the kids are right. He did it all. He did it all. He was the man. And I respect him as a brother. And I say this on behalf of myself and Eugene and Auntie Anna, and I know Anna will come up here and share a few thoughts. And I'm going to miss him. I'm truly going to miss him. Yeah, he had jokes. I had jokes, but mine were better. Yeah. And we both love the Rams. Can we give a big hand to the Rams? Thank you. So I can also say now, I don't mind if I die tomorrow or next week. The Rams have won, and I know Jesus is coming soon. So, guys, be prepared. Be prepared. I know Dr. Pastor Odell will elaborate on that, the importance of that, and your salvation at a later time. So thank you all for coming, all the pastors and the reverends that are here and your wives, all our family members from near and far, Carson High School, and Dr. Fatai, thank you so much. To all my nephews and nieces, remember, I'm here. I'm here for you. Lily, but you call EJ if you want money. Thank you, guys.